Tired of your current career path? Feel like you're stuck and wondering if switching into tech could be your escape? You're not alone. Thousands of people are making this exact shift, especially in their 30s. But is it really worth it? Or is it just another overhyped dream? In the US, nearly 60% of professionals are actively considering a career move this year. The reason isn't always dissatisfaction, it's often a desire for more autonomy, growth, and impact. But by your 30s, you've likely built a certain degree of stability, a steady income, existing routine, maybe even a home or a family. But staying put often means settling. Career shifts can feel risky. What if the effort ends in failure? But the alternative, continuing a cycle of disengagement, carries its own cost. In 2023, disengaged employees contributed to $8.8 trillion in economic drag worldwide. For many in their 30s, tech represents a path to reclaim control over time, income, and fulfillment. Shays was nearly 40 years old when he made a leap most people would be too afraid to take, leaving behind a stable career in teaching and social work to pursuing a job in tech. But his story wasn't an instant success. After completing Frontend Simplified, he sent out 194 job applications and heard nothing. And yet, he didn't quit. Eventually, a recruiter from a company he'd applied to finally reached out. That contact led to a job offer, a full-time position as a junior UI Angular developer at Comcast for $88,000 a year. Shay's story is proof that it's not too late to switch careers and that persistence matters more than perfection. If you're willing to put in the reps, stay curious, and treat your learning seriously, the opportunities are real. When people leave their non-technical roles for tech, the most impressive impact is often financial. On average, switching jobs leads to a 14.8% pay increase, well above the typical 5.8% annual raise. Tech-specific roles often pay even better. The average technologist earns over 100K, and tech unemployment sits around just 1.8%, far below the national average. But it's more than money. In tech, you build things that actually matter. You create value, not just complete tasks. You gain skills that transfer across industries and roles and often allow you to work from anywhere. That doesn't mean it's easy though. Learning technical skills in your 30s when balancing work, family, or other responsibilities presents real challenges. Expect to hit walls. Imposter syndrome is pretty common, and without structure, it's very easy to bounce between tutorials without actually building. That's why the 1 hour a day approach works. It prioritizes sustainability. On the flip side, job switching has cooled somewhat since the pandemic. Median pay increases for switchers dropped from 7 to 9% to just 4 to 5%. That means competition remains high. Technical skill matters so much more than ever, but if you can build functional applications, work in teams, and learn quickly, you'll stand out. The people who thrive at this transition aren't always the most technical. They're the ones who can think like builders. They combine curiosity with pragmatic learning and embrace discomfort. They also recognize that prior experience is actually an asset. Ethan's background in support taught him to ask good questions, empathize with users, and communicate clearly, skills that made him a stronger developer. Success in tech doesn't require erasing your past. It requires weaving it into a future-focused narrative. Should you shift into tech now? Only you can decide. But ask yourself, do you want long-term growth more than short-term ease? Are you willing to commit regularly even when life is busy? The average person changes careers 5 to 7 times in their lifetime, with the prime age for a shift falling between 25 and 35. If staying in your current path feels like stagnation, then maybe it's time to start building something new, one consistent hour at a time.